first, fast, accurate with Jennifer Copeland and Todd Connor. You're watching WSBT 22 News at 5.
And now at 5, a historic weather alert. We have seen temperatures around the area unlike we have ever seen and ever experienced in our lifetime.
Yeah, many of you seeing wind chills near 50 below zero today. WSBT 22 has team coverage as our blast of bitter cold continues. Brooke O'Daniel is in one of the hardest hit areas, St. Joseph, looking at conditions.
Yeah, and Lauren Becker joined local animal control officials looking to protect pets in the cold. But first, let's get over to meteorologist Abby Wepler. Abby.
I mean, we did break a record today, so it has been that record-breaking cold. Temperatures right now, most of us still double digits below. It's 14 below in South Bend, also in Niles. Little bit warmer, I'm using that term very loosely, along the lakeshore in Berrien County, where you have those lake effect clouds, for example. But look at Elkhart, look at Sturgis, 11 below, 13 below in Goshen, 11 below in Warsaw. Winds have been a huge issue today, blowing and drifting snow, especially those of us along the lakeshore, around 15 miles an hour with lake effect snow. You've had a mess in Berrien County, and we're fully aware of that. Winds about 5 to 15 miles per hour. These will continue to die down tonight. Great news there. However, temperatures will fall farther tonight than what they did last night. Wind chills right now, mainly in the 20 to 30 below range. It's 39 below in South Bend. It feels like 33 below in Plymouth and Warsaw when you factor in the winds. This is the record we broke today. This is for the record low temperature on this date. The old one was 13 below. We fell actual air temperature 20 below zero this morning. So we set a new record. Here were our record lows across other portions of the area. 18 below in Elkhart, 21 below in Plymouth, 8 below in Benton Harbor, and 14 below in Sturgis. So I know the next question is, when do we warm up? When do we get a break from this? Well, dangerous cold lasts through tomorrow afternoon. Friday, we're back to 20, and we have 30 and 40s for the upcoming weekend. As we start to warm tomorrow night, though, in exchange comes widespread system snow. How much we're expecting, that's in minutes.
Abby, thank you. And for those of you in Michigan, it's not just the cold. Lake effect snow creating some really tough conditions there.
Yeah, this is a live look in South Haven, and we've been watching this shot go in and out because of probably the blowing snow. We've seen the winds really picking up, and at times you don't see a thing on this shot. Pier not even visible at times. WSBT 22's Brooke O'Daniel is in Berrien County, where plow drivers are really working hard to keep up.
This truck right here covered in snow as plow drivers have been working around the clock in sometimes whiteout conditions to try and keep the roadways clear. Whiteout conditions are causing driving issues in Berrien County. And for those that do venture out, many of them are getting stuck. Due to the blowing and drifting snow, some roads are completely closed. And the cold has caused the hydraulic system to freeze on some of the plows.
Right now, it's visibility. I think that's, people might see a plow truck go by and go, oh, good, my road's open. And then they want to go out and go to the grocery store or run some errands or do something, and then they realize that they can't see.
Now, all of the officials I've spoken with, they're all hopeful that the expected increase in temperatures for this weekend will finally provide a much-needed break for everyone from this severe weather. In Berrien County, Brooke O'Daniel, WSBT 22 News.
We just want to make sure that people understand the severity of the weather out there and that they are prepared. It's not just the person who's risking it by getting outside. It is other people that are first responders who may have to show up on the scene. And so it's important that people understand the magnitude of the issue.
And there you see Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer getting a first-hand look at efforts to keep you safe in the bitter cold. Right now, the entire state of Michigan under a state of emergency. Whitmer says she's been in contact with the Trump administration even about this situation. Many of you have reached out to us asking why other parts of the area are not being placed under a state of emergency.
Yeah, we had the chance to ask South Bend Police Chief Scott Ruskowski about what goes into making that decision.
There's many moving parts that are involved. It's not just the mayor, it's not just one person that makes that decision. It is multiple agencies. So they measure our resources, our capabilities, and our capacities, put everybody's together, and see what we can do and what we absolutely cannot do. And then that's when the decision is made, if we can't go anymore. And again, we're talking people's lives in jeopardy. That's where the decision's made.
Now, if you find yourself in need of help, officials ask you only call 911 if you have an emergency. You should call the non-emergency line or South Bend's 311 line with other questions and concerns. And you know, it's not only our lives in danger during this record-breaking cold, but also our pets.
That's right. South Bend Animal Care and Control is urging everyone, bring your pets inside even if they're normally outside. WSBT 22's Lauren Becker is at the live desk right now. Lauren, if pets are not brought in, there will be consequences.
Yeah, Jennifer, South Bend Animal Care and Control is going around the city seizing any pets left unattended. Some owners are even refusing to bring them inside, and that's when humane officers are stepping in to rescue the animals.
South Bend Animal Care and Control, how can I help you?
Phones ringing off the hook as people call in about pets left outside in these brutally cold temperatures.
There's no question that these are life-threatening conditions for animals.
Life-threatening conditions, but pet owners still refusing to bring their pets inside. That's why South Bend's Animal Care and Control is stepping in to help.
No, definitely. Yeah. Keep an eye on that.
We call South Bend Police to stand by, and we seize the animals and bring them back to the shelter.
These dogs seized from homes and brought back to the shelter from unbearable living conditions. No food, frozen water, and minimal shelter. This dog lost her ear from frostbite.
We seized the 3 yesterday morning, and they basically jumped into the truck because of how cold they were.
3 animals seized last week, 8 just yesterday, and the numbers keep rising.
We are very full right now, but we will make room in other parts of the shelter in order to house them temporarily.
You're right.
When it's colder than Antarctica outside, it's time to bring the pets inside. Even if they have thick fur, Animal Care and Control says your pet is not acclimated to the sudden extreme cold.
The misconception is they have fur, which essentially that's no different than us going outside in a jacket.
Bottom line, bring your pets inside.
Oh, that's a good girl.
Just why own a dog? Why own a dog if you're going to keep it outside and not happen in the house?
To reclaim your pet, you have to provide proof of rabies vaccinations and pay boarding fees at Animal Care and Control. If dogs are not reclaimed, they will either be sent to a rescue shelter or put up for adoption. At the live desk, Lauren Becker, WSBT 22 News.
That is heartbreaking, Lauren. You know, you won't find anything in your mailbox today, all thanks to the bitter cold. USPS suspending deliveries in parts of 8 states to protect carriers. No word yet on if service will begin again tomorrow or if it will be delayed once again. And Todd, the big fear for mail carriers or anyone else outside is frostbite.
Yeah, Jennifer, our team of meteorologists has been telling us all week long it will take just minutes to get frostbite in these conditions. Experts say the consequences of frostbitten fingers or toes is certainly no joke.
The long-term risk is infection, chronic discoloration of the affected areas, and even potentially, as scary as it is, amputation of those areas.
Now, experts say if you must be outside, make sure all of your body is covered by some sort of clothing and layer up if possible. Also, make sure to limit the time you are outdoors. And remember, we have details for you on resources available all across the area as we continue to battle this bitter cold. You can find all of that and the latest on our chilly forecast. Just head to our website, WSBT.com.
Happening right now, high-level talks are underway in Washington looking to put an end to the trade war between the U.S. and China. The White House accusing China of stealing trade secrets and says the talks are extremely complex. Tonight, the two sides are far apart, but if they don't reach an agreement by March 2nd, the Trump administration is set to hike tariffs on $200 billion of Chinese imports. Also happening now, the clock is ticking and another government shutdown is looming.
Now, WSBT 22 chief political correspondent Scott Thuman is in Washington, where key negotiators from both parties sat down today searching for compromise.
Trying desperately to avoid another shutdown and the anger and criticism that comes with one. Lawmakers from both sides met for the first time in this renewed effort to negotiate a long-term spending bill.
I think the conference can reach a good result, left to its own devices without any interference from anybody else.
But the pressure is on. Funding runs out again in just over 2 weeks.
Well, these are difficult issues. You know, people stake out their sides in negotiations, and my hope is that we can look and say, where's the win-win in all of this?
Success, though, is anything but guaranteed. Here at the White House, the president has said the chances are less than 50-50 that Congress will come up with a deal he'd agree to. His team telling us Democrats have to find money for a border barrier. Now, that would require some flexibility on behalf of Democrats. Will we see likewise flexibility from the president?
Well, again, the president has already shown flexibility. He has shown compromise. So when Speaker Pelosi got stuck with, it's a concrete wall, we don't want a concrete wall, the wall is immoral, the president said, steel slats.
They claim they also conceded by offering protections for some undocumented immigrants already here. Is the White House okay with the idea of another shutdown?
Nobody wants a shutdown.
But with so much uncertainty, some lawmakers are trying to come up with safety nets to automatically extend spending during budget battles.
That basically takes off the table the potential of a government shutdown in the future.
And they're also talking incentives like suspending pay for the president and Congress during a shutdown. In Washington, I'm Scott Thuman.
A possible presidential run means the national spotlight is now shining brightly on South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg.
That's right, all new. He will soon be getting the chance to tell the nation why he's pursuing a run to the White House.
I'm Nora O'Donnell. Tomorrow's South Bend, Indiana mayor and likely presidential candidate Pete Buttigieg will be here in Studio 57. That's tomorrow on CBS This Morning.
All right, Nora, thank you very much. And back here at 5, our team coverage of this bitter and historic cold continues next on WSBT 22.
And many of you stepping outside today to try this, creating snow in seconds with boiling water. We'll show you another experiment demonstrating just how cold it is outside.
Meteorologist Abby Wepler is here. Abby, this cold, record-breaking.
It was this morning. We set a new record for low temperatures on this day. The old one was 13. We fell to 20 below and only made it to 6. Another brutal night is in store with the cold, and then I'm tracking system snow. How much we're expecting by tomorrow night, that's coming up.
First to cover breaking news with Jennifer Copeland and Todd Connor. Your accurate first alert weather forecast with meteorologist Abby Wepler. You're watching WSBT 22 News at 5.
Well, the bitter cold keeping many of you at home today.
Yeah, you've seen the numbers, but new at 5, meteorologist Ed Russo is here with an experiment demonstrating just how cold the Arctic air really is.
So with temperatures 15 to 20 below zero, it obviously doesn't take water very long to freeze. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this shirt, which is dry, and we're going to take this boiling water. I'm going to come over to this drain, and I'm going to pour the boiling water all over the shirt. The reason I'm using boiling water is because hot water freezes faster than cold water. You see that steam? That's evaporation. Evaporation is a cooling process, therefore the water gets colder much faster. That's why when you're making ice cubes, instead of using cold water in the freezer, in an ice tray you want to put warm water. All right, so now I'm going to bring this wet shirt out here, expose it to the cold, and I'm just going to swing it around like that. Now the reason I'm swinging it is because you're basically putting more wind on the shirt, and wind also increases evaporation. And with temperatures this cold, it's not going to take long for the end of this shirt to freeze like a solid rock. There you go, you see that? That probably took only 30 seconds. I went a little longer than that, but you can see the ice crystals forming on the shirt. And just a minute ago, this was boiling water. Again, hot water freezes faster than cold water. And on, again, a day like this with near record cold, or record cold, I should say, that's what you get in just a short amount of time.
That is why it's dangerous out there. But for many of you, this is day 2 home with your kids because of the snow and the bitter cold. So how are you staying busy? Todd is with WSBT 22's Dane Murray. There are ways to stay entertained at home and not go outside.
Jen, I took the time today to check how cold it was inside with all the bitter cold outside. So here's what I found. Check this out. I had my little gun, my temperature gun, you can see it there, and I went around my house, and this is what I found. My bathtub, a chilly 36 degrees. Coffee pot, 163, so that kept me going. Inside the fridge, 37. Toilet seat, 55 degrees.
No one wants to sit on that.
And of course, under the comforter, 72, so that was not so bad.
You had a busy morning.
Yes.
And you weren't the only one. You know, schools are helping to keep families busy as well. Take a look at this. This teacher at Hums Elementary School in Mishawaka, he told his students to play Fortnite. But don't worry, it gets better. He then asked the students to write a story about their Fortnite adventure and then spend some time reading as well.
Well, that makes sense, I guess. All right, and some other kids are spending their off days trying their hands at our jobs. Check this out.
Good morning. It is 11:10, and now for the weather. Hello, folks. There will be 0 chance of rain outside, but there might be a lot of snow. This has been Mark Duty on WSBT 22, First Warning News.
So cute. How great is that, guys? Cameron and his sister Taylor are sure to be on WSBT 22 one day. We want to see how you have been staying busy during your days off as well. You can snap a photo or video and post it to our Facebook page.
I love them.
Yeah.
They did so great.
They even had it down first in the morning news.
Yeah, I'm telling you, if you want, just as soon as tomorrow, if you want to come take a shot at this, it's been an easy week in the weather office. Nobody will even know you're there.
Yeah, no problem.
Ooh, all right, well, we are talking about bitter cold, though, overnight tonight, and then behind it, we're going to be talking about system snow this time tomorrow. Just one thing after another. I'm going to have that forecast for you coming up next.
Now, your accurate First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist Abby Wepler.
Boy, there's no messing around with these temperatures.
No,
if you spent any time outside.
It was hard to breathe walking from the car
that's no joke.
to the station. That's how rough it was this morning. Look at some of these wind chills that we recorded. South Bend, the wind chill got to 48 below. Same in Bremen. Mentone, you were around 52 below. Warsaw, 47 below. The closer you got to the lake, we actually had St. Joseph, you were a tad warmer. You were in the low 30s due to the lake effect clouds that you've been dealing with. We know you've been dealing with lake effect snow. Here's actual air temperatures right now. We dropped to 20 below, set that record for coldest low temperature on this day, and now we're at 14 below. Same in Niles, 7 below in Benton Harbor, 11 below in Warsaw, and the same goes in Knox. So yes, the dangerous cold is continuing tonight. Want to talk about winds right now because they are starting to die down, which is phenomenal news. We're going to see the winds lighten up a bit tonight. This helps in a couple of reasons. Of course, the wind chills, like I just showed you, but also our friends in Southwest Michigan, especially Berrien County, you have been dealing with some pretty nasty lake effect snow. The blowing and drifting snow is also a concern. This will help. Earlier today, you had wind speeds over 25 miles per hour, already knocked down to 15 miles per hour. So wind speeds tonight, about 10 to 20 miles per hour, not as strong as last night. So wind chill values, although they're technically going to be the same tomorrow morning as they were this past morning, it's because the air temperature is going to be colder. So not really much of an exchange, but it's just something you need to be aware of. Wind chills right now, you can see about 39 below in South Bend, 33 below in Warsaw, Plymouth, 36 below over in LaPorte. Future wind chills, here we go. So 10 o'clock tonight, most of us about 25 to 35 below. Overnight, our actual air temperature gets even colder. Tomorrow morning, we wake up, wind chills are still 25 to 35 below by late morning. We get into later in the day. This is what I want to show you. Everybody's asking, when do we get this relief? Tomorrow evening, temperatures keep warming, so that's going to help. Overnight, we continue to get warmer into Friday. That's when the relief in the temperatures happen, as you can see with those future wind chills. So much so that I expect by Friday morning, some of us will be close to being around the positive side, which from where we've been, that's a huge step. Here's South Bend, First Alert weather camera provided by St. Joseph Health Systems. We do have clear skies here. I know that is not the case, of course, for much of Berrien County, who's been dealing with lake effect snow. But when we're talking about our hour-by-hour forecast, we have a new record that we're keeping an eye on, and it would actually be an all-time record cold. The current one is 22 below. We are predicting a low of 24 below. That's the actual air temperature we expect to wake up to tomorrow morning. What did we wake up to this past morning? 20 below. So tomorrow morning, we're looking at 24 below. It is going to start to get pretty quiet, though. The lake effect in southwest Michigan, that is going to improve. Here right now, storm tracker radar, pretty quiet for the most part. You can see it just to our north, but we're still checking in our network of sky cams. We still see snow and blowing and drifting snow in extreme northern Berrien County, and that will continue to improve by tomorrow. I do want to show you, though, we have a system heading our way. So in the short term, it's still the lake effect. Berrien County, for example, you could see another 2 to 4 inches of snow, mainly the northern portion. It shuts off tomorrow. Here comes that system, though. Look at this. System snow tomorrow evening into very early on Friday. What are we expecting? It is going to accumulate 3 to 4 inches the farther southwest you live, 2 to 3 inches right kind of in the heart of Michiana, 1 to 2 the farther northeast you live. So in exchange of the warmer air does come some system snow. Tomorrow's highs, we make it in the positive in the evening because we keep warming, and then we take a look at Friday. We're at 20 for an afternoon high. That 40-degree weather, though, is heading here for this weekend. Our forecast for tonight, though, lake effect snow, all-time record-breaking cold, 24 is what we're watching to break the old record of 22. Tomorrow, we'll make it to about 6 in the afternoon, 6 below, I should say, and then warm as the evening goes on. Next couple of days, you can see system snow tomorrow night into early Friday, 30s on Saturday. I mean, look at Monday. Raise your hand if you're excited. 50-degree weather, even though it comes with rain. Jennifer, Todd?
I think we both put maybe 2 hands up for that.
Yeah, very excited, yes.
Our team coverage of the historic bitter cold continues next on WSBT 22. It's a nightmare situation. You come home to find your pipes frozen.
Yeah, so what do you do next? Well, we talked to the experts about how to minimize the damage. Plus,
millions will tune in to the Super Bowl at home. I'm Hillary Lane with Consumer Reports recommendations for the best TVs to watch the big game.
You're watching WSBT 22 News at 5.
all right, you are looking live in South Bend where the sun is setting on one of the coldest days in history. It's kind of deceiving because it looks warm, but if you must head outside, make sure to bundle up and put blankets, food, and extra clothes in your car in case of an emergency. And a small way to say thanks to emergency crews in South Bend, the Chick-fil-A in Erskine Commons giving free meals to first responders working around the clock to keep our community safe. Just stop by the restaurant today in your uniform anytime between now and 8 to take advantage of that deal. Very nice.
All right, let's go live now to Atlanta, courtesy of our CBS affiliate there, CBS 46. That's Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which will soon play host to Super Bowl 53. And if you're not shelling out thousands of dollars to watch that game in person there in Atlanta, you can watch it Sunday night right here on WSBT 22.
But if you want the best view, you'll need a good TV, right? New at 5, Hillary Lane spoke with experts on choosing the best screen for game day.
If you're in the market for a new TV, there's good news.
TVs have gotten bigger, but they've also gotten less expensive.
Consumer Reports' Jim Wilcox put out his picks for the best Super Bowl TV deals and says it's a good time to buy.
We did a study a year ago and saw that in the 2 weeks leading up to the Super Bowl, TVs were 22% cheaper.
TVs today are almost all very thin and smart, with streaming apps built in. What separates the new models is how they look and sound. For people willing to spend around $2,300, this LG OLED TV is one of the highest rated.
So it's got great picture quality, it has excellent sound quality, it has an unlimited viewing angle. So if you were to move off to the side of this TV, you would see the same picture as a person sitting in front of it.
This Vizio Quantum Series model is a little more affordable at around $1,500.
So a good mid-price TV for people.
Yeah, so they're trying to deliver that higher performance at a more, mid-level price point.
For those looking to spend less than $1,000, Consumer Reports recommends this 65-inch Samsung.
For a lot of people, this is a great set at a great price.
Most new TVs offer a higher resolution 4K picture, even though there is very little 4K content available. And TV makers are stepping up picture quality even more with 8K models.
8K just doesn't make sense. They're extremely pricey. We're just catching up with 4K content, so there's no 8K content.
Wilcox says if you're willing to wait, prices on today's best TVs will continue to drop. Hillary Lane, CBS News, Yonkers, New York.
Our team coverage of this record-breaking cold continues next on WSBT 22. We're going to see how power officials are working to make sure the lights and the heat stay on in your home.
Yeah, very important. Plus, we're not the only ones seeing this Arctic air. How this big blast winter is impacting much of the Midwest. That's next at 5:30.